others out Cleveland sports.
He's going in! Touchdown!
Browns, Indians, Cavs, the Big Ten, and more.
Cleveland is a city of champions once again!
Andy and Jarid, Cleveland and beyond.
A swing and a drive! To deep right!
Here are your hosts, Andy Billman and Jarid Watson.
And we are live on Facebook and Twitter. Hello and welcome. Andy and Jarid, Cleveland and beyond. He's Andy Billman. I'm Jarid Watson, and this podcast is brought to you by Waiting for Next Year. Check them out, original Cleveland sports reporting at waitingfornextyear.com. Well, happy holidays, everyone. Hopefully everyone had a great holiday, a nice Christmas, enjoyed the break, enjoyed a little bit of rest and relaxation, maybe with some family. The Browns have actually had quite a quiet week, which is, I don't know, just that sigh of relief that I just gave. I think it describes that perfectly. Little to no buzz heading into the Battle of Ohio, which I have never been into, to be honest. We will discuss what is at play on Sunday. On Saturday night, in just a couple of hours, we're going to wait for the end of the. We're going to see if Ohio State can win against Clemson for the first time ever. And then also we'll talk about Cavs, who have won 3 of 4, and Clarkson is gone, traded to Utah. And we finally get some good news. Lindor is still an Indian for now. But first, your 6 and 9 Cleveland Browns.
Cleveland Browns.
Happy holidays, and I hope everybody, like Jared just said, I hope everybody had a great holiday break. I definitely had one for the books, which I'll write in some journal and bury it in the backyard.
I wasn't going to bring it up. I wasn't going to ask.
No. It's one for the ages. One for the ages. I will do a reenactment when I'm 50. So in a week, look, this season's totally unraveled. Unlike Jared, I don't know why. I love the Battle of Ohio, and I actually hate and disdain the Bengals a lot. They've always been on my craw. I don't like the Reds either. I like the city of Cincinnati, but the Bengals, I hate them.
Skyline chili is nothing but spaghetti with meat sauce.
Yeah. I am more passionate about this than other people are. I don't like the Bengals at all. I hate them. I don't like losing to them. As a Browns fan, I really want to beat the shit out of them every time we play them. So mine is more spicy than Jared's. I do not like Cincinnati. I get into this game no matter what's going on. I don't want to ever lose Cincinnati. Never. And there's no different this year. But this year, obviously, has gone far different. I think the bigger story here that, we've been talking this podcast, at least I have. I'll speak for myself. After Denver, I was done with Freddie. I was done. I didn't see it. We've come all this way. The bigger story is going to be off the field, obviously, this week. I just don't think bringing him back is a good move. So far, no reports have come out. As Jared alluded to, I was going to talk about too. It's been a quiet week, which is nice. I think the Browns needed a quiet week. This feels like a funeral. There's no talk. There's no buzz. It sounds. You get the feeling it's very 50-50 about Freddie coming back. The one issue that I will bring up that has already been, if they do bring Freddie back, the one problem I have is I think it's going to be a dead man walking situation. And I think the other thing is to what Jared just said. I think this game is an impossible, it's a hard task. This is going to be talk about your last difficult test. How do you get a team motivated when there's no buzz, there's no juice? This is by far, if you look at the slate of games, this is the shittiest game of the week.
You're not going to. I mean, I think the first sign that you can take from this that there is no buzz, that you can't get them ready for this in the way that you would want to is Odell didn't practice the last practice. Now I know there reported his illness, but he wasn't the only one. And this is typical Week 17 stuff. I'm of the mindset of don't even play Baker, sit them all. I don't care. Well, don't risk any injuries. What this game means nothing. Freddie, like this, you know what I mean? I know that won't happen.
This game means
won't
something.
happen, but it doesn't matter. Like I barely want to watch it. I will be at Buffalo Wild Wings in Boardman, Ohio on Sunday, only because I'm meeting up with a buddy from high school who wants to watch a Packers game. But, that's where I'm at right now.
And see, that's the whole theme, though. Jared, I actually don't agree. I think this game is important. Freddie needs to save his job.
Oh, I'm not arguing that there aren't important storylines here, Andy. I know there are. Yeah. I am beat up. I am week 17. I'm week 17 Browns fan, Andy. That's what I am. Week 17 Browns fan.
No. I'm hungover. I'm done with this season. There's a difference. Okay, wait. We died finally. We knew we were really sick in the ICU. We finally died on Sunday. And now this is just like, again, this is just a funeral. We're at the funeral. It's in Cincinnati. We're all going to come down to pay homage to the 2019 Browns. There's no energy. This is why it's a weird game. But this game, I think there's some players there's some importance. I think it's an important game for Hodge. I think it's an important game for Taki. I think there's some guys in this team who need to prove where are they going moving forward. Because there's some guys in this team where I think it's a big game for Seals Jones Jr. I think it's a big game for Ratley. I think it's a big, if Olivier Vernon, which by the way is like he's going to play, I think it's an important game for him. And I can't believe I'm saying this. Here's the game where maybe Hilliard should play. Let's see what this. I mean,
well,
let's
if
give him
he's
like
feeling any better,
yeah, exactly. I mean, he's probably not.
Well,
gonna play
and I will say this too. I mean, there is something to take away from the fact that this is the first time in how long that you've had a Browns quarterback finish a season.
16 for 16, yeah. And there's a lot of things in this game. And again, that's why I let off the way I did. It's an impossible game for Kitchens. And I actually can't believe I say this. For how much I don't want him to come back, I have sympathy for him. I think this is an impossible task on Sunday. Because Jared alluded to it. If you think there is no energy level for us, how do you think it is in that locker room right now? I mean, it's just got to be. And again, that's why I'm interested to see, do you play the Hodges and the Ratleys? Do you play this like a preseason game? Because you might as well get some other kids in there to show off. By the way, it's a big game for our guy, Nick Chubb. Chubb has got a chance to win the rushing title in this game. So it's a big game for him, too. So, like, there's a lot of things.
But he doesn't even care about that.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. And by the way, God bless him. He doesn't care.
He doesn't care about it, which is why I love him.
Yeah. Here's the latest rumor that I saw from Al Breer. Doesn't sound like Haslam has his mind made up, but it also sounds like there's a lot of internal frustration. It's the same story. Breer's kind of repeated what Grossi's been saying. I've heard others been saying. They really want to keep Freddie, but they have the same problem I do. Why are we bringing him back? And that answer has not been solved yet. And I know I've been beating this horse throughout the last couple of podcasts, but I'll beat it again. Why do we bring him back? I don't know. I don't see the reason why I bring him back.
Andy, the only argument to bring him back,
the same one.
The only argument to bring him back is it relies on the inexperience that he came in with. There is literally nothing else that you can talk. You can't, right. Because you can't say, oh God, what did he say yesterday in the press conference? We're really close, something like that. Another to the effect of, just the same. And the fact that, let's talk about this. Why? This is another catch, because why would he give play calling over to Monken for this game? Why would he really? But at the same time,
yeah, I thought that was a non-story.
It's a non-story, but the fact that the question's even being asked and now it's being spun again into like, look, Freddie won't even give him a shot now, and he thinks he's going to give him the better shot with it. Well, yeah, he's been calling him all year, and what exactly is Monken going to do in Week 17? It's a silly. I think that's a silly storyline.
Yeah, I think that's it. My 10-second thing on that, I'm sorry, I'll let you go back.
Yeah.
That is stupid. Who cares? Monken, Freddie, I don't care. It doesn't matter. I don't care. I don't think it's even a story. I don't care.
No, you're 6-9. Who cares?
Who cares? Who cares? It doesn't matter.
Well, we want to see if Monken. Plays. Well, what does it matter if Monken can call plays? Then what? Then Freddie stays. He's neutered offensively. Monken takes over as play caller in 2020, and what? How does that? I mean, I don't even know how that works at that point.
And by the way,
the whole reason Freddie was here was because of the relationship between him and Baker.
Right, and by the way, Freddie's been stubborn from day one. So why in the hell would he not be stubborn today? I mean, honestly, he's been stubborn with everything. So why would he give up the play? Why is it even shocking? Of course, he's not going to give up the play calling up to Monken. The guy doesn't run the ball in 3rd and 1. The guy doesn't run the ball any times when it's.
There was another comment. I think we're doing better on 3rd downs running the ball. I think we learned. That's what
he's fucking.
He said
lost. I mean, he says the same shit week and week and week.
I know.
He is so lost.
I know.
He's lost. The guy's lost. If they retain him, this podcast, whenever the fuck we do it next, is going to be one of the most entertaining, loudmouth venting sessions. And by the way, it is going to be the same. Here's another one, and I just observed this. And I was stunned, jaw dropped. It would be as stunning as Dan Quinn coming back to the Falcons. They announced he's coming back. I couldn't believe Dan Quinn is surviving for the Falcons. When I read that story, I go, Well, if he comes back, shit, maybe Freddie comes back because I thought there was no chance.
Yeah, that's
Dan Quinn was coming
there's
back.
a lot of wasted talent over down there too. That's
my
insane.
God, exactly.
Oh.
So, anyways, that is so okay. So let's go down. We've hammered him leaving. Okay, so the latest rumors are the same. Okay, if Freddie's retained, what changes must be made? Well, I mean, I think Steve Wilkes, I think it's been a good run. We can take care.
Well, Steve Wilkes is also being one of Freddie's best supporters right now because he knows damn well he doesn't want to go anywhere either.
No.
I believe his words were Freddie's the right guy for the job or something.
Oh, it's the same stuff. I mean, it's just the same. I mean, yeah, sure. What was your favorite loss, Steve?
Oh man, it's politicking. It's just politicking at this point. It's all politicking. That's all it is.
Look. I think next year, if Freddie comes back to what you're alluding to with Monken, this whole thing about sidelines and play calls has to be figured out. They have to come to some conclusion. That's number one. Number two, they have to get Baker Mayfield, tell him take a month off, come back in February, and start working your ass off to get back to where you were in the end of 2018. That's number two. Mm-hmm. And number three, Freddie needs to really evaluate himself. Don't be so stubborn. It's clear. It's obvious. Allow the game to be played. If it's a running play, let it be a running play. If the flip play doesn't work in week 1 and week 2 and week 3 and week 4, maybe we should scrap the play and not be running it on 3rd and 1 on week 16 at home against the Ravens in a big spot. Stop doing things. This team has not had their shit together from day one.
Right.
And by the way, let's go beyond this. Mr. Dorsey, who I think is a good GM, but he's had a bad year. Good GM, bad year. What are we going to do to not only bring in, we can guess the roster, but how are we going to keep talent in Cleveland? Are we going to really build up Mac Wilson? Or are we going to do the same shit like we're doing with Schobert? Are we going to do the same shit?
Which drives me up
the wall. Are we going to do the same shit we did to Hollywood Higgins?
Well, and what else? It hurts too, Andy, because you're doing this at a time where you don't have depth. Where not only you don't have a depth, nor do you have a team atmosphere. And that's a team guy that you're not re-signing.
I know.
And it didn't even have to be long term. It could have been a 2-year. I mean, see what you can get done.
And by the way, Kirksey's...
Well, maybe it did have to be a little longer. Depending on what Schobert's going to get elsewhere.
But Kirksey, too. Kirksey's not going to be back. I would be surprised if Kirksey comes back. So, I mean, you're losing 2 veteran guys in your team in that position. And you're going... And again, I've been happy with Mac Wilson. I think he's a good player in pass protection. I think he's got some things he's got to work on in the run.
Right.
Taki, I'll be honest with you, I need to see a little more, but nothing yet. Nothing really... I don't know.
No,
nothing that catches your eye.
Well, here's the question I have. What do you think is Demarius Randall's not here next year, right?
Gone.
Can't see any reason. I don't even know that there's a reason. He checked out terribly.
Yeah, he had a bad year. He was a big team leader, and something happened. What was the game? The Pittsburgh. Boy, that was a kind of a hidden thing because of the Myles Garrett situation. Randall really, after the incident in the Steelers game at home on Thursday nights, checked out. He has not been the same player. I got to be honest with you. I've been disappointed in Randall in the last few games.
That's what I mean. Game. Yeah.
He's been disappointing. To be honest with you, Richardson's been the one guy. I like Richardson a lot. I called his name a lot last year. I called his name in the first 6-7 games. Larry Ogunjobi, I haven't seen much. I haven't seen much from him. Olivier Vernon, boy, I hyped the hell out of him. Where is? I mean, I know he's injured. That's been a big injury. Chad Thomas has been a pleasant surprise, I would call it.
Yes, correct.
Pleasant surprise. I liked what I've seen out of him.
And Denzel Ward has looked a lot better this season coming back.
People are overreacting to him. He's had not a bad year.
No, he hasn't had a bad year. He's nice. He's come back nicely. And we'll see what he can do next season. That's where I'm at with that.
Yeah, the other guy is Greedy. Like, that's the guy if you want to be like, hey, like, what the hell? Greedy, I don't know what to tell you. I have...
Greedy's been kind of a shit show.
I have the same thoughts for Greedy and for Taki. Need to see more. I'll be fair. Need to see more.
Greedy's got to learn how to look for the ball.
I got to be honest with you, Jared. I think Greedy needs to learn how to play pro football. He's had a lot of situations on the field where he looks lost.
Oh, very lost.
Very lost. I mean, has had situations where you can just tell he's like, oh, thank God that fucking ball didn't get caught because I didn't no clue what was going on in this play. He just looked like a rookie at times. There's a lot to do on defense. And then on offense, okay, I think you got your guards. And Teller's been playing. You might want to draft a center next year because I think our center's on his last legs. I think he's played very admirably. I think he's been very beat up, and I think you got to be cautious about him.
Yeah,
you don't have any tackles. You don't have. I have seen enough of Hubbard, and there's no way they're bringing back Robinson.
Well, they will shore up the offensive line. That's almost a guarantee at this point.
You have to think. You have to think. I mean, and again, though, this goes back to the thing we brought up earlier. That's why if you let go of Beckham and you trade Landry and all that shit, it's like you have so many other holes we just mentioned on this team.
What are you actually even going to do? Yeah.
What are you going to do?
You can't. I mean, that's what last season was. That's what it was. Gathering these players and getting this thing together.
That's right.
And we knew at that point that, you know what, even though they've got these guys and they got this young talent, that they're going to be lacking depth, and now you can build onto that. But I think you're shooting yourself in the foot when you're letting people like Schobert walk.
Yeah.
God bless. You need locker room guys, especially right now. That's how you develop the culture. That's how you get the carryover from season to season. That's how you build the cohesiveness with those guys on either side of the ball. Yes, exactly.
And Kirksey's going to be gone too. I mean, I actually understand the Kirksey thing, and I love him, but he's been injured. I mean, I get Kirksey because Kirksey's had a couple run now. Like, I just don't know if he's healthy, and I get that. Schobert, to me, I'm so on board with you about Schobert. I don't understand it. I would bring back Schobert. You can't. I would be very wary about Wilson and Taki being your linebackers next year. I don't know. It's asking a lot out of kids that I've seen some good things out of Wilson, and Taki's been leaking oil at times. But again, he's a rookie, so I don't want to be too harsh.
Right.
Sometimes you got to learn in your position. And that's why I'm giving Greedy Williams a pass for this only reason. He's a rookie. I know he's a rookie, and I know he's playing.
But you got to add to
position.
it. You got to add to. I mean, that you got to add to it.
And they have a whole bunch of guys. Yeah, I know. And
why, when you're already thin at linebacker, why are you gonna? God, it's just I'm getting angry.
Well, no, because
I'm getting angry because they came into this season without giving a shit about the linebacker position. At least it felt that way. And then you thought, okay, you know what? It's going to be okay because I can see what they're doing here. They want to have a front four pass rush. They want to have those edge rushers, those guys, with Olivier Vernon and with Myles Garrett. Okay, that'll work. That'll work if your secondary is solid. That'll work. You can do that. But then you lose Garrett and you lose Olivier Vernon and you lose your pass rush. And now all of a sudden you don't have none of that works. The plan's gone to hell.
They did not have a dominant pass rush like you and I thought they would.
Not like
they had a pass rush, but it wasn't dominant. Right. It wasn't effective. And that's why I do put the microscope under Ogunjobi. I don't know if Larry's coming back. I gotta be honest with you. Larry has been okay. Like I think you need a bit. I think you're in, and again, like you can't keep filling in studs. So maybe you keep Larry Ogunjobi. But so we just mentioned both tackles. I really do think Olivier Vernon's been a problem. So I think you're gonna have to get another pass rusher somehow.
Not reliable.
Your linebackers I think are a mess outside of Wilson. Because it sounds like you're not keeping anybody outside of that. I think you're going to need some more safeties because it sounds like we're getting rid of every safety on this team except for Redwine. And then you go, okay, then we go to the captain obvious position on offense, the two tackles, and then we go to our favorite position, tight end. We don't have a tight end on this team. Njoku's gone, thank God. I didn't like him, so that's no big deal. But the other guys in this team that you do really wonder about, and I've been critical of him, but I think it's a big game for him. Seals Jones Jr. could have a big game in this game, and it could prove him to a contract next year.
Could.
Because they need some depth on the tight end, and they don't. And Harris, seen enough. Take care. Like I got some other guys in this team, like and again, like I've been so critical of these other two guys. Hilliard, I know he's injured, and I feel bad for the guy. I would not retain him. Ratley, seen enough. Would not retain him. Like there's just been some guys in this team now. Where I'm like I've seen this. But boy, tight end, if there was ever a Super Bowl type of roster moment, I think Seals Jones, if he has a big game and plays well, Jared, I think he's going to earn a way to come back on his team next year and get a good contract. because the Browns need some sort of tight end. They need something. Something. Can you imagine if Seals Jones plays crappy and they don't keep Seals Jones? I mean, that's another position you're starting to
all of this entire season, in my eyes, comes down to one word, and something that we've seen the Browns leadership try to do in the past: cute. We try to be cute in the guys that we sign. We try to be cute with the play calling. We try to be cute with trying to be smarter than the game. We try to be cute. Cute. Stop being cute. We're trying to be cute.
Win. I don't give a shit about style points. I want to win. I don't care if we score 40 points or 10. I don't care if we only score 20 points and win. I don't care if we win 3-0.
Oh, and that's one of the reasons why I didn't bitch as much when they did win ugly games.
Oh,
I couldn't. I wasn't a big fan of the complaining about, but you could see the cracks.
Here's the thing.
You could see why they weren't close to having it all together, as Freddie has said for 17 weeks.
Oh, he talks like he's coaching a different team. Like he says things where it's like, again. All right, I'll say this one last time. I have to. It's an unbelievable statement. He didn't mind the 3rd-and-1 call against the Ravens, and if that pass was incomplete by Hunt, his comment was, "Well, we'll just go for it on 4th-and-1 from our own inside the 30." I mean, folks, you can't make this shit up. That's so stupid. I mean, that is the kind of thing where it's like, that is the kind of. Could you anyways? So let me ask you another question I was going to ask for us to talk about today. If Freddie's retained and you and I just went about the roster, what are the expectations for 2020? I think he's going to have to make the playoffs. And I'll be honest with you. I think Freddie's in quicksand.
Andy,
quicksand.
I got to be honest. I don't have expectations at this point.
Oh, no, none of us do. But
I don't know how I could have expectations with what we're looking at.
No, it's true.
I'll never. Oh God, here we go. I will never get hyped as much as I did for the Browns this season ever again. Will not happen. Won't.
No,
won't. I should have known better.
Well, to your point, our expectations are different. But if they retain Freddie, I think the Browns' expectations are going to be very high. I think they're going to tell him you need to go 10-6, make the playoffs.
Oh, has to be. Yes. There's nothing else. Are you telling me that 8-8? Well, he's improved off of 6 and 10.
That's my whole point. See, this is my whole point about Freddie. How can you bring him back? It just doesn't make sense. You can't bring him back. Anyways,
the argument to bring him back is going to be that there have been plenty of coaches that have started out with a team and had records like this. The problem seems to be, it's not. I don't know that Freddie's got a grasp on all this, especially like we talked about. The one that stands out to me, Andy, is the whole part of him having conversations with guys with his back to the field while the defense is getting shredded, right? Like, what am I going to say? I don't have anything.
And by the way, that's not the only game this has happened. I mean, that wasn't just the Ravens game.
Well, it's funny. I bring it up because it's something that I didn't really pay attention to throughout the season until you had mentioned it. I'm like, you know what? He does do that.
Oh, no, he does it throughout every game.
Like, what is he doing? Because he buddies too much with some of these guys, I think.
He has no grasp of the game. None. Zero. And I by the way, that will not change. I will guarantee you that won't change. That's why you cannot bring him back. In fact, I think if you bring Freddie Kitchens back, and he'll be the leadoff, it's going to be worse than 6 and 10.
No, the only way that I think that he could change is if there was a camera that was on the sideline on him every game, the entire game, and if he sat down and he watched the tape of himself and was introspective enough to understand the stupidity of what he was doing while sitting next to a coach who has been doing it for a long time. And I don't think any of that is going to happen.
No.
I don't.
No.
I don't.
Last question on Kitchens, and we'll get to the other things. Who is... And I've had a hard time answering this. I don't know who his supporters are on the team. Forgetting coaches, players. I think Baker Kind of. I think Baker's kind of lost that edge with him.
It's been quiet.
Quiet. I don't think he's got supporters.
And I will say that in front of the cameras, in front of the microphone, the guys have said the right things for the most part.
Right.
But there have been some other guys who have clearly not been happy. There have been guys that have been benched that, like what happened with Higgins and him? What happened? Because I think Randall got into it with them too. I might be wrong on that, so don't quote me. But there have been guys that have behind the scenes gotten into it with Freddie. At least the rumors are there, and that have been benched.
Well, how about this too? Before the incident, Myles Garrett and Freddie were not exactly buddy-buddy. Freddie always made a point, and it's all, Jets game was an example. Even though Myles played a great game, Myles did have a very bad penalty in that game. And Freddie harped on that more than his play on the field and what the other plays. I thought he was very, very hard on Myles Garrett. I just think Freddie, the reason why I asked this question is Baker was his big supporter. I don't think Baker's supporting Freddie right now. I don't. I thought for the first time I felt it this week, and I felt it to what you said, is quietness, but also I'm saying, hey, he made a comment. They got to do what they got to do. And when you hear those kind of comments, I think I think the writing is on the wall. I do think Freddie's going to get fired. I think the writing is on the wall big time. I think it's a dead man walking.
I just don't know what they're going to do.
Well, that's for another podcast, but I'll tell you this. They have to really, okay, I was going to say this for the end, but I'm going to move it up in a timeline. This is the biggest thing I'm also going to harp on with the Browns. And this not just goes on the field, it goes off the field. I'm ready for this organization to move forward as an organization. I don't want to hear about there's the analytics staff, then there's a personnel staff, and there's a Haslam. No. We are the Cleveland Browns. We make decisions as one. We do as one. You don't hear about, there's the Kraft camp, and there's the Belichick camp. No. We're the Cleveland Browns. We make decisions as one. I don't want to hear about fucking analytics making
no
votes.
Factions. We don't need factions.
I'm tired of this. It's not just on the field. It's off the field. I don't want to hear, does analytics have a say? You know what? The Browns make the decision as a team. I don't give a fuck who makes the next hire. Make the best hire possible. Yeah. Do it for the best of the team, best for the city.
Again, and how has that always happened? Getting cute.
Getting cute and be like,
always trying to get cute.
I made the hire. I made the hire. Your hires fucking suck. Make the hire that's best for the organization. If you do that, you'll get good results. If it comes down to I voted for him. I don't like, she said this, and no. It's a bona fide unit. I don't care. And here's another thing. I don't give a shit because this was such a misfire. I get it. If Dorsey has to give in to Haslam, to analytics, I actually can say I get it. We've all had work situations. When you've had a big thud on a project or a program, whatever, when you come in that meeting, well, I can't just be demanding to run the ship again. God, that last decision I made was terrible.
Right.
So for people to be like, well, it's all Dorsey's call. Well, maybe not. And that's okay. Make the best decision as a group collectively and work together. God damn it. Go to some fucking retreat and do yoga or whatever it takes and make the proper move going forward. I just don't want to hear, Jared, if you knew this drove me crazy back in January. Analytics really likes Stefanski and everybody else liked Kitchens. If we have one of those moments again, Jared, where analytics has got one guy and then pro personnel's got one guy, I'm going to lose my shit. Make the decision that's best no matter how they come about, how they are. I don't care anymore. I get very, very worn out and tired about hearing, and I've already heard it's like, well, who's going to make the decisions? It doesn't matter. Make the decision as a team. And again, Dorsey's lost some. Am I wrong? I think Dorsey's lost some clout here for the Freddie Kitchens hire. I mean, it's a big miss. This is a big miss. Huge.
It all depends on where Jimmy was and on all that, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I think Jimmy and D are going to weigh in big time.
I think if Jimmy and D were on, I think you'll be able to tell whether they were on board with it or not.
Yeah.
When this next thing goes down.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Where I think they were on board. I don't think that Dorsey had them sold. I think they were in lockstep with Dorsey.
Not you're right. But analytics came in with Stefanski.
Right.
I don't want that anymore. What I want is we like these people because not just this is analytical minded, and Dorsey likes Freddie. And by the way, I agree with you. I think D and Jimmy
which is good for Dorsey. It's good for John.
Good for Dorsey. But I don't want this next one to be like, well, Jimmy and D lean more towards analytics. No. It's about what's best. It's about what is the best decision. There can't be – the Browns have not done this right since they moved back. Actually, Butch Davis. I thought that Butch Davis was the right hire. Everything that this organization's got to do is got to be done for what is best for the team.
Right.
It doesn't matter if it's a special teams coordinator. It doesn't matter if it's a college coach. It doesn't matter if it's someone who's retired and is coming back.
You can't have the factions coming in, going against each other.
Exactly.
And you know what? There's some owners that like that. There's some people in the business world that like that. That like pitting groups of people against each other.
You're right.
I got to be honest, I've never liked that. They think that they're getting the, whatever the competitive juices going or what. No, you're creating factions, you're creating infighting, you're creating instability, you're creating distrust of people that sit in an office next to you, and the walls that divide you are your battle lines, and you don't need any of that. You don't need any of that. The Browns certainly don't need any of that. But that's what that is. That's what that does. When all these different factions come in and throw their own opinions into that, instead of being one cohesive unit, that's been a problem. That has been a problem.
It's been a huge problem.
Years.
It's a huge problem, and I'm going to bring it up. Is if I hear, I can already, Jared, I can already see it's going down that road.
Yep.
And it's not, and if it does, it's like, why are we? You guys can't even get off the starting blocks right. Well, it's a Cleveland Browns decision. It's a Cleveland Browns decision. No matter who pulls the trigger, no matter who cares. Again, doesn't fucking matter. Hire the best coach, the best person to lead the team.
Yep.
And to your point, I love different opinions who can collaborate, not fraction.
That exactly.
And this team does not collaborate at all. Hasn't collaborated in 10 years. That's why the Browns have 10 consecutive losing seasons in this decade. What a fucking shitty goddamn decade this has been.
Well, it's all
fucking believable.
Well, it's all gone in 3 days. So
thank fucking God. Turn the goddamn page and burn the
wash
book.
our hands of it.
Seriously, boil your hands in water and tell everyone that this
press
was
reset. Start over.
Gee, yeah, reset hard. Like God, like. Okay, so I think we did that. I was going to say that more towards the end, but we did that now, which is good. Okay, now to on the field, and I do want to talk about this quickly, then we'll move to the game. If you are on the field and in the locker room right now, and you had to go in there, I would think right now, again, even with Baker being the quarterback and everything that's going on, I think the leader of this team is Jarvis Landry, and I think a quick second is actually Beckham. And then Baker. And I don't think it causes, it's weird, I don't think it causes friction in the locker room. I think everybody gets along. Well, no, I don't get that vibe that people hate each other, actually.
They don't. I don't feel that way either. I think that, and now here's a theory.
Okay.
Here's something. So you know the bond between Freddie and Baker that they had coming into the season.
Yeah, right? By big time. We all saw it.
And you know that Baker, took a leadership role that and has faded out of that, and where we've seen more Jarvis Landry and Odell and heard their voices a little bit more prominently. And I'm wondering if, going back to Freddie, if that's the problem there.
Oh, yeah.
And that if Freddie's gone, that'll make it easier for Baker and Odell and Landry to link up and kind of take hold of it all together, as opposed to Baker wanting to go with them, but he's also got that loyalty still to Freddie that he feels like he'd be stabbing him in the back a little bit. And I know this is like high school drama shit way of describing it.
But we're here.
But that's probably what it is.
We're in high school drama shit. They don't need to be pals. They need to be more colleagues. I think the Browns are pally in the locker room. That's the nice thing I see about this team. Even though I think there's a division of leadership, I don't think it's causing friction. I really don't. I think everybody gets along in the locker room. I can tell. Yeah. Even Myles Garrett doesn't take the leadership role on defense when he's in the locker room. But again, it doesn't cause friction on his team. You can tell.
Yeah, and you don't want to lose that. So maybe it comes down to Freddie because the players have not turned against one another.
Baker needs to be coached. Baker needs some tough love, and Baker needs to really get in there. Now, this is the last thing I was going to lead on. I do think, and I know people think I'm crazy, I think it's a big game for Baker. I think it would mean a lot for Baker to go for 300 yards, have 3 touchdowns, and leave the year on a positive. He actually could really use that in this game, Jared. This guy could really use some breath of hope. Because I'll tell you,
he will not be set up for success for that to happen because of the way that Freddie calls the games.
By the way, that's different.
Not going to happen.
By the way, you're right. I don't want to take away from what you just said because you're absolutely correct. But it's a big game for Baker. He could use a big game.
He could
use a breath of positivity. By the way, everything that Mr. Watson just said is absolutely correct. It doesn't set up well because this is a team that doesn't do that. Now, last point, let's get to the game real quick, then we'll move on. The one other player in this team that needs to start being hyped around this is Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb needs to get a bigger leadership role in this team. Nick Chubb needs to be felt in the locker room. I think Nick Chubb is felt on the field, but then whatever happens, Freddie coming back or not, someone needs to be like, hey, 24 needs to get the ball at least 20 to 25 times a game. Folks, sometimes in the game, Nick Chubb only carries the ball 15 times. He's gonna lead the league in rushing. It's like a fucking virus. It's like you can't give him the ball enough. Let this guy carry you. Let this guy take the pressure off the shoulders of other players. And by the way,
it doesn't even necessarily just have to be him. I think that the way that they've slowly worked in Hunt shows you that they can be a tandem and just work it that way if you want.
Yes.
But you have to run the ball. You've got to do it at the right moments, at the right times.
Oh, my God. I mean, yes.
Run the ball when you're supposed to. And, by the way, the next time you're in the goal line and you try to run a bunch set, spread it out. Again, we talk like till I'm blue in the face. You're not doing it correctly. You're not setting them up for success and doing what works for them.
And here's the biggest thing that drives me fucking crazy.
Every time that Chubb is tackled behind the line of scrimmage, it's because they got a bunch set. They're not spread.
Oh, by the way,
tell me I'm not. I mean, tell me because that offensive line cannot create any open holes for him any other way.
How about a makeshift tight end being a lead fullback blocker, doesn't even know how to block? I mean, he runs in the line and goes, God help, hopefully I did something. Look, the bigger thing than what Jared's alluding to, and this drove me crazy in the USC-Texas game, and it stands out in this team. Why take out Reggie Bush in 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, even if you're not going to give him the ball? Why take out Nick Chubb on big plays if you're not?
You need them to be on the field. They will create a distraction at the very least.
Jesus Christ. It's like, I'm going to talk about that all off season. I want to see Nick Chubb more in the game.
Nobody's sitting there again. Here we go again. Cute. We're being cute.
Oh my God.
Take them off the field. Oh, they won't know what we're about to do. Oh,
Do you know what they're saying? Do you know what the other team's saying?
What are they, idiots? Thank God.
He's not in the game.
Exactly.
We can cross that play call off. Jesus. Okay. Big game for Baker, in my opinion, in this game. We talked about the off the field stuff. We talked about the on the field stuff. It is the Battle of Ohio, the Paul Brown Bowl. We'll run through the numbers real quickly. The Bengals offense is 26th in the league. Their defense is 30th. They are still 32nd in the league in rushing. We have the league leader in rushing coming into this game. I have said this, but I want to hammer it home. I love the Browns. This is by far the shittiest game on Sunday. This game. There's every other game. I can give you a reason why there's more juice. The Browns Bengals is toilet bowl bad. There's This is for people like Jared and I to watch. Like you said,
So you're saying Nance and Romo will not be calling the game?
No. I believe they're picking the intern of the week at CBS. It's like, hey, do you want to? Ever been to Cincinnati in December? All that to be said,
It's probably going to be in the 60s.
It's going to be global warming, climate change. All right, real quickly on this game. I think this is an important game for Baker. I think Baker could really use a good game. I don't believe games carry, but he could use some positivity. He needs something. It won't happen in this game. I think the Browns have checked out. I think that's why there's been no buzz. I think there's a blowout alert on in this game. I can't believe I'm saying that. The Bengals are that bad. I think the Bengals are going to win, though, by 7 points. Give 20-13. Something like that. Nick Chubb will barely win the rushing title. It'll be like a virus that they have to give him the ball in this game. I just think the Browns have checked out. I have seen no emotion, no buzz from this game. I think everybody's gotten their death sentences. I think everybody's ready for the season to end. I think at times it's going to get ugly and dirty. I hope I'm wrong. I have got to hope I'm wrong, but I think this is going to be a bad game.
I don't think either team is going to give a shit, and I'm going to say 13-10 coin flip to who has 13 and who has 10.
Don't be surprised if Andy Dalton plays with some zip, because he's playing for a contract. He's playing for a contract. So
we'll probably throw a few interceptions. Thank you.
Oh yeah. Pick six.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like that's where we're at.
Oh, right and by the way, this is the big warning in this game. If they don't stop Mixon and Jarid in this game early, watch out.
Yeah.
Those two guys tore us up last game, and they got really pushed back aside. Those two guys owned us. The Bengals running game torched the Browns last time. If Zach Taylor, who has a little bit of Freddie Kitchens in him, if he just hands the ball off, I think the Browns are in big trouble. So I don't think the Browns have got anything to stop those two all day long. The NFL slate is nothing exciting when it comes to playoffs outside if you're wondering who's going to make it between the Titans and the Steelers. Who gives a fuck? We hate both those teams, I would say. The Titans always remind me of the Oilers, and I hate the Oilers, so I don't like the Titans. I don't like the Titans at all. Yep. I hate the Steelers more, so I guess the Titans can go. But I hope gives
a shit as long as one of them, as long as the other one. Listen, as long as the one who makes it loses in the playoffs, I don't care.
Yeah, the game with the juice is the Niners Seahawks. That's at 8:20 NBC.
Yeah.
I will watch that game. The other games that kind of keep your eye on is Texans Titans. That's at 4:25. That will be the Romo game. Ravens are just playing for window dressing against the Steelers. It'd be interesting to see how the Ravens play in that game. They don't really have a reason to play. They got home field locked up. I don't think there's gonna be much of an effort there.
Can RG3 finish that game?
Yeah, right.
I mean, I'm serious about that.
No, you're right. Now let's bring up some reminders. Carolina Panthers are gonna have a head coaching vacancy. Mm-hmm. Unless something stunning happens, I don't think Pat Shurmur is coming back to the Giants. So I think you're going to see a head coach opening there. The Redskins have a head coach opening. What other teams am I missing right now that come to mind real quickly? Jacksonville sounds like they're bringing back Marone, which is weird because they fired Coughlin, but they're going to bring back Marone. The Lions are bringing back Patricia, which is weird. He's had a weird year. But they're bringing him back. And again, the Falcons, boy, I would have lost my house. Dan Quinn's coming back. Unbelievable. That team is underperforming, and they're bringing him back. Okay. So at least, there's not a lot of job openings as much as I once thought, Jared.
Well, I mean, is Dallas going to open up?
Yes, if they lose. Win or lose. And by the way, it would be a big win. Okay, good. I'm glad you brought this up. I was going to forget it. It would be great to see the Cowboys make the playoffs. If you really want Urban Meyer.
Yeah.
That gives you another week of buffer to get him in the door.
Yep.
It gives you another week of buffer because Garrett's gone after.
So speaking of cute, is getting Urban Meyer, is that being cute?
No, I think he can do it.
You think he can? I think it feels a little cute.
I don't love the hire, but I like it.
Okay.
That's my, I don't love it. I can't say I love it. I like it.
Like beeline to the Cavs.
I love that hire.
Well, I just mean bringing in a guy that can help coach and teach these young guys and get them to play.
I just think Urban Meyer, he has a lot of Cleveland blood in him. He has a lot of Paul Brown in him. I think he would take this job very seriously. I think he would really, really give it full effort. But
there's one thing I know: he'd run the fucking ball.
Oh my gosh, I would not have no problem doing that. Right? Here's the thing, though, that we ought to be cautious about: is it Jimmy Johnson? where you win 2 Super Bowls? Or is it Nick Saban? Or, is it Steve Spurrier? Is it these guys who came in the league and didn't work? Is it Chip Kelly? I don't know. So it's hard to say. I mean, it's hard to say. But, for all those other guys, there's Jimmy Johnson. Tom Coughlin was a college coach. God, he won 2 Super Bowls with the Giants. There are guys who can prove you can do both.
Yeah.
You just hope you got a Coughlin. You just hope you got Jimmy Johnson. And that's why I'm saying I like it. I like it. There's proof out there college coaches can do this. And I think Urban Meyer's got the Paul Brown in him.
I just don't want to see Urban Meyer, clenched over, down on his knees in pain.
Ready for this? And this is going to drive you crazy. And you can probably already predict what I'm going to say. I would hire Jim Harbaugh. I would give him a call after he loses to Alabama. I'd call his cell. Be like, hey, look, you're not going to beat Ohio State. So why don't you come back to the pros where you almost led the Niners to the Super Bowl?
There'd be a mutiny.
No, it'd be fine. Give him a call.
Do you think?
Oh, yes, I do. If you win games in Cleveland, they don't give a fuck.
I'm talking about prior to winning games. I'm talking about the name being said. I'm talking about the initial hire. Lose their damn minds. The whole city lose their damn minds.
I'm going to mention this. I think Jim Harbaugh is a sneaky candidate if they get blown out by Alabama.
I think he's a weird booger eater. That's what I think. I don't know. I don't want him there. I think he's a weird booger eater that could never beat Ohio State.
Ready for this? I would love that hire. I know people go crazy. I would love that hire. I think Jim Harbaugh is a wonderful coach. He just can't beat Ohio State.
No,
I went on that rant. I know you're not. I know. But I would love that hire.
Fucking revenge tour.
I think Jim Harbaugh is a quiet candidate in this whole process. Is if they get their asses handed to him by Alabama, and knowing that Jimmy Haslam wanted him to come to Cleveland a few years ago in a trade, if he's like, you know what? Let me just give him a call. Hey, look, you just got your asses handed to you by the Clemson. You just got handed to you by the Bucks. Why don't you come back to the pros? We got your team set up here. You got a fiery quarterback just like you were in Chicago. Why don't you come back and lead the Super Bowls? I would be so on board. He's a Clevelander too.
All right.
I love it. I want that. Okay, that's my dream hire.
All right.
And I'm by the way, I'm on an island because everybody would probably throw bombs at me, but I think that would be a fun hire.
I mean,
anything more on my Jim Harbaugh stance or anything else on the Browns before we get to this game? Let me ask you this: if the Browns, what is your I know you said your coin flip game. In all honesty, what is one thing or two things you will be looking for in this game, in the Browns game?
Turnovers and big plays. How many big plays the Browns give up, and whether or not Baker's throwing the ball like an idiot. I mean, those are the only two things I think I care about.
Outside those players I mentioned earlier, like the Seals Jones, the Takis, I really, number one's Baker. I want to see how Baker plays.
Yeah, I want to see how Baker plays, and I really want to see how bad this defense decides to quit, especially against
I think the do not disturb sign's on the door.
That's just a damn shame.
I hope I'm wrong. I hope I
That's
am
a damn
wrong.
Shame if it's going to be like that.
And by the way, if that is true, and from what I saw in the last game, Mixon's going to have a career day.
Because no one will tackle.
No one. I think that is in play. I think the Browns getting blown out's in play. I'm telling you.
I think anything's in play.
I do too. I don't think the Browns.
That's why I don't have anything. I don't have anything for this one because it's just hard to read. I think. I think what makes sense though. I think the blowout being in play is definitely a part of it. I just think both sides of the ball, both teams are going to play shitty. But yes, you're right. Depending on how Mixon gets going, it could end up being.
Could be bad.
Yeah.
I'm telling him, if he gets going on the ground, it could be bad. All right, let's talk about something that's been
He will get going, by the way. The more we talk about it, it's going to happen.
Again, it is the funniest story. It is very Freddie Kitchens-like. If Coach Taylor just knows to give him the ball, the Browns can't stop him. I actually felt for Mixon getting upset on the sideline. Because I was like, I know why he's upset. Because we can't stop him. And they're not giving him the ball enough. Anyways, that's their problem, not ours.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. They made that mistake last time. And
oh my gosh. Andy Dalton throwing a big spots around the goal line. Bring it on. All day long. Yeah. All right. Let's talk about as I get verklempt. Let's talk about our exciting Cleveland Cavaliers.
Cleveland Cavaliers.
They've won 3 out of 4. The big story, though, is off the floor with the Cavs. They lost on Friday night to the Celtics, but they played admirably. Love had 30 points. Sexton's had a good run of games. His point per game now is up to almost 18 points. He's had 20 and 3 out of the last 4 games. Garland's been playing better. He had a rough game.
He had a rough game yesterday, right?
Yeah, a rough game. He only had 2 points, but that's a rookie, so you can't really read too much of that. But the bigger story is the Exum trade with Clarkson being shipped off to the Jazz. And Clarkson already put in like 20 minutes his first game in Utah and helped lead them to a win. It was against Portland, I think. Clarkson can play. I think Clarkson.
Yep.
Okay. I don't want to do this too much. I think people in the NBA really misread other players on the other teams. Because I read so many people going, Clarkson goes to Jazz. I'm like, Clarkson's a good player. I don't.
Well, that's why I was surprised that they got, not the greatest draft picks in the world, and Exum's been just an injured dude. What is Exum going to do?
Yeah, okay. All right. Okay. Exum.
You're forcing the young guys onto the court. That's good.
I like that. Here's the problem. Exum's one of these things where it's like you didn't open up new spots. Exum just replaces Clarkson. So basically what you're saying is I'm hoping for a lottery ticket and I hope Exum works out. And by the way, Exum at one point was thought to be one of the best players in that draft. He was drafted 4th overall. And if he didn't have that leg injury and the FIFA thing, they thought he was going to have an excellent career. He has not recovered from that. Played for Australia. He's an Australian. He has never recovered from that leg injury. By the way, he plays defense. That is a godsend on this team, so that would be good to see, right? Didn't matter last night. They still scored 120-plus points. But anyways, all to be said.
Yeah, the Celtics is kind of figured out there.
Yeah, kind of figured out. So yeah. So to your point, I did not love this trade or like it. I thought it was okay. Here's the thing that you mentioned that I'm going to hit on. I'm tired of these, hopefully Exum just works out and is like a superior player. It's like, and we're building towards things that we can more control, like draft picks or something like that. Exum's not played well now for a while. Now he's going to get an excellent tryout with this team. But here's the other problem. Exum doesn't have a small contract. He's making $10 million a year, 9.6. So it isn't like you're taking money off the books either. The NBA is the weirdest trades of trades. I don't understand at the times. This is one of these I don't understand either. Because people are like, we give the Cavs an A-. I'm like, I'm glad I'm a Cavs fan, but it's like, really? For 2 second rounders and the guy is on his
I would have never guessed that was graded as an A-.
I read that and I read that and my jaw dropped.
But that shows how little I even get with the NBA at this point, too.
But my point is, Jared, I don't understand how this stuff is going on with the NBA. Like, how do you analyze that? Like, Exum's on his last legs. We'll have to see. Look, positivity, if Exum stays healthy and if he ever is a close enough of player as when he came into the league, you actually may have a budding star. But again, he's another guard, and I don't understand. Well, and that's the other thing. This team needs size. Yeah. So why are we trading for another guard? I don't know. That was a weird trade. That's how weird trade. Weird trade. And we love trading with the Jazz, by the way. This is another trade made with the Jazz again. Kyle Korver. We love making trades with the Jazz for some reason.
Well, wasn't Rodney Hood out there too?
Yes. That's another trade we made.
Yep.
Korver, Hood. We've made a lot of trades with the Jazz lately.
God, Rodney Hood was talk about one of the biggest disappointments.
Oh boy, that was. And then he turns on his career as soon as he leaves town. Played really well for the Blazers. Poor guy got hurt though. So that's the Exum thoughts. I hope it works out. I think it's a clear lottery ticket. You're just hoping it hits because he has not been healthy. So you just hope it hits. To more on the floor stuff, we kind of hit upon it with Sexton. I know they lost to the Celtics, but they won 3 games in a row. It was good to see the Cavs win 3 games at home against 3 winnable games: Hornets, Grizzlies, Hawks. And I'll tell you the last one in particular, the Hawks. The Hawks have good talent comparable to the Cavs, and the Cavs won that game still. It says a lot. I think people need to remember the bigger picture. Trae Young's, he stinks defensively. Trae Young offensively is really a wonderful player, and he had a good game, and the Cavs still won. That is a good sign. It means some of these things are working. And I just think there's more, the more and more I watch the Cavs, Jared, I actually think in a weird way, this team's going to, even though I think the record's about one on par, we thought. 20, 25 wins. I think that's what you're looking at. Probably 25 on the high, on the low, unless they get, I think the low is more like 20. They're at 9 right now.
Well, yeah, and we're getting to the point now, Andy, where the wins might be tougher to come by because you're talking about a young team and young guys who have not played a long NBA season yet. These are guys where if they were playing college basketball, their seasons would be wrapping up right now.
They have barely touched the Mississippi River, to your point. They have not gone way out west. Like where you play the Clippers and Lakers in 2 nights. Like that kind of stuff, which is coming.
Right.
Which is coming.
Right.
There's that fun Staples Center trip for people who watch that game on Christmas. But anyways, I do see a lot of I know the Cavs aren't talked about and they're buried, and I get it. The Cavs are still doing good things. I thought they've had a good couple weeks. They've had a good restart here. I think they've done some nice things. The only thing, again, that I think it needs to be just rumored, I've been checking everywhere. The Kevin Love rumors have really died down a lot, and I've seen nothing on Tristan Thompson either. Nothing. So there's no rumors about either. Now, it doesn't mean those guys aren't going to be traded, but Jared, I've been surprised. Everybody and their mother thought Love would be traded before Christmas, and it hasn't happened. He's still here.
I know, I thought.
We all did. Wojnarowski, everybody's kind of referencing it. He's not going to be here for long. I bring it up as we said this last year. Oh, Love will be gone. Love will be gone. We keep hearing Love will be gone. He's still here. It'll be interesting to see how, Jared.
I'm glad he is.
I am too. I just wonder, is he going to survive this and keep on the team? I think it's interesting. I just don't. Everybody keeps saying.
With Andy, they've talked about this, and I know that you say one thing and then things change, but they signed him. They wanted him long term. He said he wanted to be here long term.
I think it's great.
We can't forget that. We can't.
No,
forget that.
I'm with you, dude. You and I are on the Kevin Love bandwagon. I'm with you. Keep Kevin Love. I think it's good. By the way, I would be renegotiating with Tristan now because the money's going to be coming down off this China fiasco that happened. Was going on with the players. You're going to lose some money with not that funding coming in. I would renegotiate with Tristan now to keep him around too.
Yeah, why not?
And again,
because again, you don't have picks. You don't have any.
No, and by the way, if you're going to trade for players,
and there isn't anyone out there that's going to fill those spots right now.
No, and by the way, if you're going to trade for players, front court, big guys, 6'9" and above. Cavs need tall, strong, big guys. Exum, another guard. I mean, man, we've done this. Like we need big dudes.
All right.
Big dudes. I will say this. Okay, last thought on the Cavs. This is the first time I really got disappointed a little bit in Kobe. I thought it was a little bit of a flat trade. I just didn't. Now I'm going to talk about this more. I just don't understand why on a team that doesn't have good front court outside Thompson and Love. Like, why are we going after more tall guys? I don't get it. I don't know. I think it's weird. Another guard? Don't we have guards? We're guard heavy. By the way, I think Garland's going to be a star. Sexton, I think, is going to be a good, steady pro. I think Garland, if Garland keeps growing like this, and by the way, people forget, he didn't play last year. He was injured for Vanderbilt.
Right.
So this is his first year back just playing.
Right.
Give this time. I think Garland could be a star. I really do. I'm seeing some things in Garland's like, wow. Like, oh, and Kevin Porter Jr. is good. I was wrong about him. That kid, it's good. There's some good parts on this team. And by the way, Freddie Kitchens doesn't coach a team. It's good. Another Michigan man. Let's transition fast to the Indians.
Cleveland Indians.
Nothing on Lindor. I looked again this morning. I saw nothing. The biggest rumors, if you like rumors, and these are just rumors. Everybody who's a Yankee fan wants Francisco Lindor. Everybody who's a Dodger fan wants Francisco Lindor. Everybody who's a St. Louis Cardinals fan wants Francisco Lindor.
Mm-hmm.
Those three fan bases are really clamming after him. The only thing that's been reported is with the Dodgers, and that has not changed. I have not seen anything. The Indians put up this press release that they want all their final deals to come in. I guess they've needed some more time over the Hanukkah and Christmas days to digest these deals. But Jared, I think we both said, I think that's falsified. But Lindor's still with the team. Kind of like Kevin Love. He just keeps going.
I watched the fans lose their damn minds thinking that he was going to get traded and posting all of these
the
rumors
silly.
and all this stuff. And I never bought into any of it. And I don't think either of us did.
No.
Didn't make sense. Whatever. You want to see what the people are offering. That's fine. Play that game. But nah, Frankie ain't going anywhere, man. They're trying to win a World Series. Somebody it was one of my best friend's fathers. I ran into him Christmas morning at a Starbucks, oddly enough. And when I was running the kids around to go see grandparents, and he argued with me that's it, that they're falling apart. The Indians got nothing.
No.
And blah, 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 blah. And they're not going to, their pitching rotation. And I said, I don't think you're right at all. I said, they're making a run here.
Yes, they are.
They're making a run here. You don't see that? No, I don't see it. They've got nothing. What are they going to do? Okay.
By the way, I think that's great for the Indians.
I don't know how to argue that, but all right.
By the way, I think that is great for the Indians.
So do I.
Just pour cold water.
Good. Surprise everybody.
Yeah, just let's not do what the Browns did.
Yes.
Let's just pour cold water. Let's be fickle.
Yes.
Oh, the mighty Yankees and Cole.
We're never going to be able to do it. Oh, Boston's going to be tough again this year.
Houston, even though they lost Cole, they're still tough. And they got Brantley.
Oh, gosh. The White Sox have gotten so much better. I don't know if we can hang.
Were you happy about Puig going to the South Side? I know. That bummed you out. Bummed me out, too.
What am I talking about?
19 times to get to see that guy. 19 times. And by the way, the Chi Sox won the season series over the Indians, so that's just another wrinkle onto that problem.
I don't want to talk about it.
No, it's annoying. It's definitely annoying. All right. We've buried the headline for today, though. The big game is in the desert. Let's wrap up with bowl games in Clemson, Ohio State. You go first, actually, as I can tell you're ready to pop.
Well, yeah, I guess I'm going to say this because I'm doing this broadcast from my mother's house, and everyone in the house is up moving around and wanting us to finish the show so that they can be loud in the kitchen, apparently. That's what I'm up against right now, Andy. So don't they know that the show must go on? Oh, I'm getting a dirty look from my mother right now. Anyway.
Merry Christmas.
Andy says Merry Christmas, Mommy. Listen, they're matched up perfectly.
Yep.
You're talking about two teams that are almost identical. Lawrence throws the ball, for a little more efficiently than Fields, but we know that Fields is coming into this game about 80 to 85% with his leg right now when he strained that MCL.
That's what's been reported.
I think that this break has been big for him. He'll still be wearing the brace, but I think he's going to be good. He'll be mobile. That I like. The running game, if the Buckeyes can get the running game going early, that's going to be important. And they have to stop Clemson's run. If they don't stop Clemson's run, that's going to open things up for Lawrence, and it could get ugly. But then there's this. Clemson hasn't played anybody this year, correct?
I went down this theory last year at Clemson. Yes.
Okay.
2 years in a row. Clemson has not played anybody. A&M. I'd say Texas A&M is your only game you can count.
Right, but they've still. I get it. They're about as solid a team as you can get. You don't want to sleep on them, but they haven't been tested. They haven't played a complete team like Ohio State. They just haven't. So
very, very true.
But I will say this: they haven't lost a game since 2017, and that's two. They lost 2 games since 2016.
And they blew out Alabama.
They haven't given up more than 14 points. I don't think hardly. The only one that was close was the Tar Heel game. Correct.
And by the way, Carolina was on, scored a touchdown, and was going for the 2-point conversion to win the game. So they could have tied that game.
All right. So with all this said,
drum roll.
Oh, I'm so predictable because I'm such a fucking homer with this one.
Mm-hmm.
Ohio State big 48-24.
Oh my gosh! All right, well, that is an inspiring pick. All right. Here's the thing.
I just feel the magic, brother. It's just it's magic.
By the way, I would too.
Oh gosh!
I thought Notre Dame was going to be
my words. I don't want to eat my words. I don't want to eat my words.
So now I'm on the other side. I was Jared Watson last year. This is Notre Dame's year. I'm feeling it. Here we go. We got Clemson. They haven't played anybody all year. This is right up our alley. So here's what I will say. I will warn. I think it's going to be a white knuckler right down the end. I think these two teams are even.
Yep.
Here are the things that I'm going to bring up though that I've noticed throughout the year. Dobbins, okay, 2 more things. Dobbins and ATN cancel each other out. Lawrence and Fields cancel each other out. I think Lawrence is a hair better than Fields. So maybe you get a little advantage there. Defensively, I think Ohio State's better defensively than Clemson. So I think because Lawrence got the advantage over Fields, I think athletes on the field are even. I think they're all even. I think Ohio State's got better defense. I do. The one thing that would worry me if I'm Ohio State is they have tended to put the ball on the carpet against Penn State, Michigan, and again a little bit against Whiskey. You cannot do that against Clemson. Clemson will hop on that ball. They will get those fumbles. They have quick players. They are ready to go on that. Here's the other thing that would bother me. Dabo Swinney's got so much experience in this game. And Lawrence and these players got so much experience in this game. Ohio State did not play in this game last year. That would bother me, especially with Swinney. I think Day is a wonderful coach. In fact, I'd love Day to be the coach of the Browns too. It's another guy. They should be giving him a call. Also, they should give Matt Rule a call too in Baylor. It's another guy to be giving a phone call too. All that to be said, Dabo Swinney has got a flair. I like Dabo. I like how Clemson plays. They have cocky. They have swagger. I've had a very hard time deciding because I really do like Day. And I've liked how Ohio State, again, the thing about this game that troubles me is Ohio State's defense to me is better than Clemson. I think Clemson's defense is not as good as it was last year. So it throws me off here on what to do.
By the numbers, their defense is better. But by the numbers, that's because of who they played.
Well, Clemson didn't play, but I've watched these two teams play.
That's my point. By the numbers, their defense.
But I've watched these two teams play. Ohio State's got the better defense. I'm just telling you. I'm going to take Clemson by a hair, just only because of Swinney. And I think overtime is all over this game. It's going to be a midnight madness type of thing.
I don't even want to fucking talk to you right now. You know that?
34-31.
Don't even want to talk to you.
I think ATN runs the ball in and will go on to the championship game. The one thing I will warn to Buckeye fans like Jared, Ohio State is a really, really, really excellent good team. And this is just a juggernaut of a team too. So if they were to win this game, it is not just, even if they don't win against LSU, to beat Clemson is a huge accomplishment.
Well, it is. They played them 3 times. They've lost 3 times. The last time was that blowout in 2016 that I will never forget.
And the returning national champs. These are the returning national champs.
Yes.
This is a real people. This team blew. Did not just beat Alabama. Smoked Alabama. Smoked them.
Oh,
I mean,
boy.
This team is really good. I'm just telling you, it's going to be close. Clemson by a field goal in overtime. I think just enough. Just enough. But I would not surprise me at all if Ohio State wins this game. I think LSU wins big against Oklahoma. I am with everyone. I think Oklahoma just doesn't match up with LSU.
Correct.
But if you chose Ohio State, I would not blame you. And again, I want to repeat this. If the Ohio State wins this game, this is a huge win. It erases some of the things that happened with Urban Meyer and Dabo in years past.
Yep.
And I'll tell you, it doesn't take all of it. But again, the Woody Hayes thing with Clemson, it takes a little sting off that game. I think that game is still being played wrong, Ohio State fans. This gets back a little bit of that moment. Clemson Ohio State's had a long past, more than people think. And it's all, and to Jared's point, it's all been Clemson. Big game. Love this game. I want to repeat this. Love this game. And Oklahoma, LSU, I know my one thought, even though no one in the hell gives Oklahoma a chance, it is Oklahoma, and you got to take them seriously. Okay, real fast. I know your mom's got cooking to do, and I don't want to take any more time.
No. It's probably me they're waiting on to cook.
No. No, well, in that case, do you want to
real
go
about this?
I love the Memphis-Penn State game today. That's at noon. I think that's – but okay, another one. Big game for Franklin. You can't lose to Memphis. And Memphis can beat Penn State. You can't lose that game. Can't. It is the appetizer along with the Irish and Cyclones. I'll be watching Irish and Cyclones. But you cannot lose that game. Cannot lose that game.
Yeah.
Irish Cyclones, it's the first ever bowl game I can remember for the Irish. It has no buzz. It's like the Battle of Ohio. There's no buzz. No one cares. I'll be interested to see what kind of team shows up. But I bet the Irish win that game. Okay, other games that come to mind, I kind of reference it. I know there was an article written about how no one cares about Alabama, Michigan. Am I the only one? I love that game. I want to watch Alabama, Michigan play on.
Yeah, it's a convenient. It's a matchup that it's a matchup you never thought you would see, and yet here we are, and we get to watch it. For that
I'm
reason,
into it.
for the I don't know, the little mix here we've got here where it just worked out this way. I think it's perfect. I think it's a
fun game.
To watch.
I think it's a fun game.
Yep.
Big game for Harbaugh too. Blowout alert. If you're Minnesota, as a Purdue fan who saw this last year against Auburn, Minnesota plays Auburn. Be careful.
Yep.
Auburn has got athletes. They play in the Southeastern Conference. Be careful. Blowout alert there. Big game for the Hoosiers. They play Volunteers. That's a winnable game. They should win that game. That's another. The Big Ten needs to win some of these matchups. That's another one. Illinois plays California. Illinois needs to win that game. It's a big game for the conference there too. All the other games are kind of mick-muck. There's really nothing here that really kind of stands out. Those are the games I want to mention. And I can't believe I'm saying this. I am not a big whiskey guy. I have no interest in Oregon, Wisconsin. None. I'll watch it just because it's there, but I don't have any interest in that game. None.
No, not really.
I just don't care. I don't know why. I'm not a big. I love the Rose Bowl. This is the first year ever. I'm like, Badgers, Ducks. I don't know. Whatever. Hopefully for a good game. But again, Memphis, Penn State. Big game for Franklin. Big game for Franklin. Big game for Baker on Sunday. And it'll be interesting to see, Jared, from everything we're reading. My last thought, everything I'm reading, I think Freddie does get fired, but there's been no story. It's ironic for a season that's been so loud and so much buzz. Nothing this week. Nothing.
Shoot us an email, andyandjared@gmail.com, Andy and Jared, Jarid, @gmail.com. Find us on Twitter @CLE and Beyond, @CLE and Beyond. You can also find us on Facebook, facebook.com/Cleveland and Beyond. And listen to the podcast wherever podcasts are heard, Google Play, iTunes, Stitcher. We've got the show over on YouTube as well, everywhere. Find it on your Alexa device. Go ahead and give it a listen. Give it a subscription or subscribe.
Give it a like
Click
on
the
Facebook.
subscribe button. All that good stuff. We are brought to you by Waiting for Next Year. Check them out. Original Cleveland sports reporting at waitingfornextyear.com. He's Andy Billman. I'm Jared
Head of the
Watson.
Jim Harbaugh, president for Browns head coach next year.
Oh, God bless. This is what we have. We got months of this ahead coming.
Hopefully analytics approves it.
Oh, God. Andy and Jared, Cleveland and Beyond. The battle for Ohio is a silly rivalry. What, the battle for third and fourth place most years.
Oh my God. It's certainly a long ways away from Bernie Kosar and Boomer Science.
Take care, everybody.